Hi, everybody. Welcome to this podcast of mine, and thank you so much. So, today we are going to dwell onto a very important placement, especially to understand our inner child, right? We all know that inner child is uh, that part of us that has been abandoned, that has been criticized, that has not been acknowledged, so on and so forth. But today I'm specifically going to dive into the planetary placements that are responsible for giving inner child wounds. So tell me, have you ever felt joy in your life? Or was there something that was always missing? Do you have an answer to this question when someone asks you, what gives you joy? What brings joy in your life? And for some reason, you don't have an answer. What if you always felt that joy was something that you always had to earn? This is rooted in your childhood, but beyond the childhood, it's your soul's memory. Your inner child may be carrying a burden that even began before the birth. I'm talking about Saturn in the fifth house. So let's deep dive into Saturn in the fifth house, a placement that speaks to the wounded inner child, wounded imprints, and karmic restrictions your soul agreed even before you arrived in this life. Let's look at some of the significations of the fifth house in Vedic astrology. In Vedic astrology, the fifth house is children, both physical as well as non physical children. It's your inner child also. It's your creative expression. It's the house of solutions. And most importantly, it's the house of romance, children, and speculative gains. And above all, it's your past life karma. It's the Purva Punya Bhav, which means it speaks about the fruit of your actions. This is the house where the soul wants to shine, express, and create. But what happens when a karmic taskmaster like Saturn is placed here? When Saturn lands in the fifth house, a person becomes a Vairagi, a hermit. As per some of the very ancient Vedic astrology text, Saturn in the fifth house is Lord Shiva, the one who has distanced himself from all the worldly pleasures such as romance and children and loves to stay in the forest. But what happens when Saturn lands in the fifth house in your birth chart? Joy becomes very conditional. You may have this belief that I can play after I have been productive. Till you don't do any kind of work, till you don't slog, or till you don't work hard, you don't feel you have done anything. So, work is play for you. I have a third house Saturn, which aspects my fifth house. And for me, I don't know what joy feels like, sadly. I really don't know what joy feels like. I used to play, and that also used to feel like a task. So every joyful thing in life feels like a task and a burden, and above all, a responsibility. The creativity gets restricted because Saturn is that hard taskmaster, and fifth house is creativity. So you feel that if I express my creativity, if I express my joy, then it will only come with guilt because I don't deserve the joy. I will feel shameful of doing this because there's nothing productive that I have done. Love becomes delayed. I don't deserve love until it's even, unless and until I have proven my worth or I have done something. Women with Saturn in the fifth house are very masculine. Because Saturn in the fifth house puts the third aspect on the seventh house, which is the house of marriage and partner. So, this type of a person will always have to put additional and extra efforts in their marriage. Marriage is going to be the most difficult task for them. Their partner is going to be like a child to them. They have to treat their partner like a child. They'll have to put a lot of efforts. So, if you're someone who has experienced a childhood devoid of emotional safety or fun, strict yet an emotionally cold parenting, feeling like you have grown up very fast, you never feel like a child with Saturn in the fifth house. You don't know what your childhood was like. You may not even have memories because the trauma is so deep that the brain has pushed everything down. You only know that you have grown up very fast. This isn't just psychological, it's a karmic memory. So before your first breath, you were learning what love felt like. With Saturn in the fifth house, there may have been womb level stress too. Your mother may have felt emotionally repressed, burdened, or unsupported during her pregnancy. She may have not actually experienced joy, but when she would have got to know about you being there in her womb, she would have felt more of responsibility than love. And sadly, this becomes your blueprint where your inner child wound will speak to you in the form of these beliefs. I have to earn love. Fun is unsafe. I'm only worthy if I work hard, if I do my work, or only if I'm useful. If none of these things happen, then I feel shame and guilt around it. This isn't just your story, it's an imprint that has been passed down from generations before you. Saturn also over here points out that there are places where your soul didn't complete its lesson. There could have been suppressed creativity or love in the previous life that might have not been expressed. You could have been a hermit, sacrificed joy, control. You must have taken vows of celibacy. There could have been a fear of freedom and passion or expression. So, Saturn brings you the opportunity to reclaim your joy by conscious efforts and not by chance. It mentions delay but not denial, but to mature your relationship with love, joy, and expression. So, what is Saturn in the fifth house really asking you? It's asking you to reparent your inner child, bring structure to your creativity, feel safe in play, not because it's productive, but because it is sacred. Heal the idea that joy is earned and begin embodying the truth that joy is your birthright. Saturn does not say no forever, it says not until you understand its value. If this deeply resonates with you, your inner child has been whispering for joy, love, and freedom. I'm taking this opportunity to invite you as I'm coming up with a special program, 5 deep healing sessions for your inner child. If you wish to be a part of this program, join my free coaching group and get in touch with me to know about my 5 deep healing sessions. The link is in the description. Come and sit with me. So, Saturn in the fifth doesn't mean you have doomed to be joyless. It means your joy will be earned, integrated, and sacred. Tell me, has play ever felt unsafe to you? What's your relationship with your creativity and your inner child? Let's talk. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone whose light has been dimmed but never destroyed. Because healing the inner child is how we return to the soul. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow my free WhatsApp group, which is a trauma informed group. And also, you can send a hi to me and get in touch with me about my inner child healing sessions. And until then, I will see you. Bye bye.